Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for July 27th through August 2nd. This week I read 4 books, I watched 4 shows, and I listened to 1 audiobook. The first thing I finished this week was the 7th thing that I read for the reading rush, and that's Everything is Beautiful and I'm Not Afraid. This is a graphic novel that I got through one of the apps for my library, so I was just able to read it on the fly, and it's something I'd never heard of before. It's written by a woman who was born in China but moved to the United States, so it has to do with her immigration, it has to do with her being bisexual, it has to do with people just being terrible human beings sometimes. And there's not really a through narrative to this, it's a collection of different vignettes. Overall, I enjoyed this, but I don't think I'm really going to remember too much of it come next month. After that, I finished my reread of Me and White Supremacy. This is a wonderful book that I highly recommend if you are looking to add anything to your anti-racism reading list. This book started as an Instagram challenge and then morphed into this book. It has 28 different chapters in it that you're meant to read over 28 days, or at your own pace. You can really do whatever you want. But I've decided that every July I'm going to take the first 28 days and reread this book. The way this book is written, it's very easy to engage with these difficult topics, but then you are also expected to do the work because at the end of every section there are journaling prompts that you're meant to go through and figure out what you've thought about that different topic and how you can do better in the future. After that, I finished Anxious People, which is the newest book by Fredrik Backman. It's not quite out yet. This was an arc. For the first little while reading this, I could have sworn that this should have been called Insufferable Assholes because everybody seemed like a jerk, especially when they were being interviewed by police officers. A lot goes on in this book and it jumps around in timelines and we get to know different characters in different ways, but essentially it is about a bank robbery that doesn't go well, so the bank robber runs away, finds themselves in this apartment where there is a viewing for the apartment and kind of blockades themselves in there, and now instead of being a bank robbery, it's a hostage situation. We get to know about the robber and why they would do this, we get to know about the different people that are in the hostage situation, we get to know about the 2 cops who are actually father and son. And by the end of this, even though I thought they were all assholes at the beginning, I ended up really liking them because we got to see these different aspects of them and why they were being so insufferable. If you like linear storytelling, this is not for you because this does jump around over about 10 years or so of content, but you do get to make these little connections between characters, which is very interesting. This week I also finished the legendary Shiver. This is about a girl who moves to a small town in her senior year and immediately befriends our protagonist, who's a little bit shy and doesn't really have any friends, and they hit it off. They are best friends for life from that point, and she really wants to move away to New York after high school and become a singer. This book really becomes about her career and doing everything she can to become a pop star, an idol, a legendary person, and it is so good. The ending made me cry, but I can't tell you about that. Going into this, I thought it was going to be a platonic relationship between these 2 characters, and for the first little while it is. Eventually our main character realizes his feelings are more than platonic, but we do have this great side best friendship that I just absolutely love between these people that kind of come in and out of the narrative, and I really enjoyed seeing that. This book is about the music industry and what some people find themselves having to do to get ahead and different twists and turns, and it takes place over about a decade, and we slip so seamlessly between these different moments in their lives, and I really enjoyed that. There's also a little bit of side queer content, which I'm pretty sure is why the author slipped into my DMs and said, hey, you would probably enjoy my debut novel, and he wasn't wrong. On to what I watched this week. We finished the 2nd season of Luke Cage, so that's done, and it left off in a very interesting place. We'll see how that goes later if we continue watching the show whenever the 3rd season comes out. If it's coming out, I have no idea. We watched a couple more episodes of Scandal, and Liv just should really have a therapist. That should be a thing that should happen. I also, of course, watched this week's episode of Canada's Drag Race, and no spoilers because I know a lot of people are behind on it, but I was very happy with who won this week, and I was also very happy with who ended up going home from the lip sync because the other person killed it. Also, the person that ended up going home was somebody that I had always forgotten was in the competition in the first place, which seems mean, but it's just, if there's so many people, I sometimes forget about people. And then, of course, because we're still big nerds, we watched a lot of old episodes of Jeopardy, because trivia is fun. The book I listened to this week was Stamped, Racism, Antiracism, and You, and this is a remix of Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram Kendi, but this one is written by Jason Jason Reynolds. So it's my understanding that he took Stand from the Beginning and I think made it into a much more conversational book, as well as I think that this is directed more towards a teenage audience, which means that it was very, very accessible. This goes to lengths to tell you that it is not a history book, but it does have a lot of history in it. It actually dates back to what we believe is the very first races up until about present day. And there was a lot of information in this that I did not know about. Again, if you're looking for books for your anti-racism reading list, this is definitely one to put on there. As well, the author does read the audiobook, so if you're a type of person who really enjoys that aspect of audiobooks, another reason to add it to your list. Before I go, I just wanted to remind you, or in case you don't already know, I am interviewing George Lester this coming Wednesday. He has a debut novel coming out on Thursday, although some copies did make their way into Waterstones a little bit early, so people were finding them and getting very excited about it. As they should, because Boy Queen is delightful. I read an advanced reader copy a while back. I've been following George on BookTube for ages, and I reached out to him a while ago being like, do you want to do an interview when your book comes out, because that would be fun, and that's what we're doing. So the link to that live show will be down below, so you can click the link and then you can actually set a reminder so that YouTube will tell you when it's happening, or you can put a reminder in your phone if you're anything like me and you need multiple reminders for things. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you're on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support me, so I recently set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link to that is down below, as well as the link to my PayPal and my Amazon wishlist in case you feel like getting me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!